Hey, I'm Peter Linz, and you're watching a podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Roll it.
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Join Jake and his friends on a journey through pop culture of the past, where they interview professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and so much more. Who will they be chatting with today? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode.
Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Happy here with us. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm your host, Jake Devenbaugh. With me today, as always, our co-host, Chris Bixby. How's it going?
Doing good. Hi, everyone. How are you doing, Jake?
Doing great, as always, Chris. Thank you for asking.
Yes, we have a wonderful interview for you folks. Jake, why don't you tell everyone a bit about it?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. Today's guest we have in this episode is Brian Jones. He's a puppeteer and actor. We'll touch base his career throughout this wonderful chat, including some of the projects with the Muppets, Puppet Up, and some of the series he got to act on, and many more. So let's not waste any more time. Enjoy our wonderful chat with Brian. See you then. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Today we have with us is Brian Jones. Welcome. Happy to have you here.
Hi, Jake. Hi, Chris. Good to be here.
Good to have you.
Yes, good to have you here too. Thank you so much. So, to start this off, we know who you are, but for those who don't, could you tell our audience a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, no worries. Brian Jones or Brian Michael Jones, if you care to internet search me, because there's a lot of Brian Joneses in the world. It's a very common vanilla name. I had to throw my middle name in there. Actor, puppeteer, writer, improviser. I do a lot of improv, always have. And golly, I know you guys have interviewed a lot of my puppet friends with the Muppets. I just listened to Peter Linz's episode. Wonderful episode.
Oh yeah, Peter's awesome.
Guy in the world.
Pierre, yeah, he's wonderful. He's great.
Yes, and
Thank
maybe
you.
Bruce Lanoil. Did you interview Bruce as well?
Yeah,
We've interviewed him
Bruce,
several
yeah.
times. Yeah.
Bruce is a
two
dear
times,
friend.
which is the first episode, and then kind of came back for when our show turned a year old. So
Yeah,
so
Bruce is
a huge
great.
support of what we're doing. Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, Bruce and I have.
Yeah.
We're just. He was one that was so easy to become friends with. You know what? When you meet a person and you're just like keep saying yes to each other's interests, and it just builds and builds super fast. I'm like, did we just become best friends? Yes, we did. That's me and Bruce.
Aw.
At any rate, I'm originally from Arkansas, and I moved to LA for college, and then after that, I did a whole bunch of improv and TV shows and stuff like that, and got discovered at an improv show to go and do puppetry for the Henson Company, and I've done various projects with them throughout the years. I think, gosh, 15, almost 10-ish to 15 years ago.
Nice.
Started training and working over there with them. Yeah, after college in LA, I just got an agent and was doing TV and film and did the Muppets, and it was wonderful, like a dream job, working with all of anything at Jim Henson's studio. Every time you park your car and walk into that lot, and you're just like, I can't believe I'm here, about to make a little creature come to life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. So now we're starting off with the acting side. Do you always want to pursue acting as a career?
Yes. Many actors can relate to being the youngest in a family starved for attention, and just the whole look at me, watch me, Dad, look at me, Mom, see what I can do. So from a very early age, I would act out comics and stories and jokes. And at my house, there was a fireplace, and you have a little like the ledge, like the bricks at the fireplace, and that's a little stage for a kid. You're up there and you're performing as best you can, or as often as your parents will pay attention to you.
Yeah.
And that was me. And then, when school started, had the school plays, I did that, and then onward and onward. And my first professional thing, I think I was like 12 or 13 when I started working. And you can only be an actor if you have, or at least on some level, support, from parents or something like that, or at least good friends that will lend you a couch. Because when you get started, you really gotta start from scratch. And that was kind of my experience after college, moving from Arkansas to Los Angeles, not knowing anyone but my friends, and then we just kind of created our own stuff, which is always the best advice I could give any actor or performer or artist. Just start creating. Certainly don't wait for anything, and certainly don't wait for the day you wake up where you think you're good enough. You are. Just
Right.
start. Yeah, right? You know how that is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now
Exactly.
similarly with puppetry, I know you kind of touched a little bit on how that kind of came into play for you, but were you always a fan of like puppetry, like Muppets and Sesame Street, things like that?
Absolutely, always. I mean, there's something that I'm sure the other puppeteers that you've interviewed can say, that when a puppet is on someone's arm, everything kind of fades away.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
imagine you're at a party and somebody has a puppet on their hand. You'll stop mid conversation with whoever you're talking to, turn and go, wait, shut up. The guy has a puppet on his hand.
Yes.
I don't know
Right.
what's going on,
Exactly.
but I need to stop what I'm doing. I need to go over there and I need to watch what he's doing.
I gotta pay attention to that. Yeah.
It's just magic. You know what I mean? And you don't even, and as Jim Henson
Yeah.
would say in interviews, you don't need to hide yourself so much behind a screen or a curtain. It's just a puppet. Like, yeah, it's a puppet. I'm not trying to hide. It's not ventriloquy. It's which is an incredible art, but it's the suspension of disbelief. You're fine. You just ignore the guy standing there moving his mouth. I don't care so much. I'm just looking at
Yeah.
the puppet. So yes, from an early age, I was always enamored, like many of us, and I took it to that next level where I would grab all the stuffed animals I could find, and I would entertain my sister. I was the youngest, so I had two older sisters. I still do. I still do have two older sisters. And I would manipulate the little stuffed animals, and I would just have them move their arms and their face, and even a tilt of the head can be a huge emotional change in a
Yeah.
an animal. Yeah, because they don't blink, they don't breathe, they don't lick their lips or wiggle their ears, or at a very base level, it's just a still face, and the puppeteer can tilt it up, down, left, right, with all the emotions and really make it seem like it's coming alive. And I was told by a handful when I started at Henson, they'll teach you all the things they can teach you, and either
Yes.
you kind of take to it or don't. And I got an early stamp of approval, like, yeah, you got it, you get it, And I think having just listened to Peter's episode, I got the camera, I got the monitor. I'm at home, I'm in my apartment in LA, and I'm just
Practicing and
absolutely,
see,
and really using the edge of frame as your stage, entering and exiting, to the left, to the right, up, down, and creating with a screen picture stories. And anyway, just getting it kind of into it, but that was always surprising and wonderful to have my roommates, and we all had jobs. We were waiters. I was in my early 20s, and they would get home from a hard day of work waiting tables, and they would walk in and they would see me standing in the middle of the living room with a monitor, a big tripod, my hand in the air with some puppet on it, and they're like, dude, I just want to go to sleep. I don't know what you're doing. I'm tired. I don't want to go to bed. Like, no, watch this. I've been working on this for an hour and a half. Check this out. But I've always been enthusiastic about puppetry, and also always appreciative. And Bruce Lenoir has said this to me, and I know he's buddies. You guys love Bruce. Even when I was doing the Muppets on ABC, I was one of the assistant puppeteers, and there's a big group of us, like 10 or 12 of us in a room, and they would say, hey, we need somebody to come and be the right arm of such and such, Muppet. And so I was very, very much in a minor supporting role on that show. And I would just be so happy. And Bruce would say, yeah, it's great, isn't it, Brian? Yeah, it's great. While we have it. And I went, while we have it, where's it going? And Bruce has done so many shows. It's almost like, oh dear, Brian, don't you know that everything has a beginning and everything has an end? And basically his point was to appreciate what you have while it's happening. And of course the Muppets on
Yeah, exactly.
It had its moment, and other projects have come afterwards, but he kind of caught me a little bit with my head in the clouds. This will last forever. I'll be doing this till I'm 50. Well, Brian, no. Yeah, he's always just been a great mentor through the years too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Always you have kind of be like always in the moment where you're doing things. So sometimes, it probably only lasts just for a season, and other shows gonna last more than you think. So you kind of have to, be in the moment, and especially in the way you mentioned about how like the way puppeteers how to, especially with emotions, with even just looking and just like lip syncing and all that, and also the way where they're like the puppets is looking like their friend, for example. They kind of have to, like Frog Walk, for example. If they had to turn like this, so now where their eyes are looks like they're actually looking at them instead of
Right.
like it's like be like this
Yeah,
or that type of thing.
Yeah.
Those are little those technique that technique was taught over the years at Henson, and it makes a wonderful world of difference. And there's also puppeteering
A huge difference
on
even.
stage, which is a different beast. I just speaking of puppets on stage, I just finished doing the musical Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, really?
Nice.
I
That's cool.
auditioned thinking, hey, I'm a puppeteer. I'll be Audrey too, the plant. I'll help and I'll get inside the plant and kind of bring it alive.
Right.
And they said, no, we don't need you for that. We already have a puppeteer. And instead, they offered me the dentist role.
Oh, really? Nice.
You remember that play, that the sadistic,
Yeah.
dentist. And so I went, okay, I guess I'll do that. Cool. And so as I'm doing the songs and dances and things like that, and all these other characters, I got to know a guy named Jonah Jackson, and he's a local puppeteer in Nashville, and he's one of the best puppeteers I've seen. And I'm like, dude, you're in Nashville, and you are killing it. And you're talking about moving the puppet to the left or right, tilting so the eyes stay in frame. What he could do with Audrey too, and we're talking about a puppet that's as big as a Buick. And we rented it from the guys off New York on Broadway. It's the same puppet from, I think, Monkey Brothers. It is just incredible what he can do with the bottom jaw, wiggling it left to right when the voice sings vibrato, with that kind of the bottom part of your jaw going back up and forth. Anyway, I was just watching him work every night, just going, dude, you're amazing. Dude, you're amazing. Dude, you're amazing. Let's be friends. Which is great. I say that to a lot of people. Dude, you're amazing. Let's be friends. Whee!
Right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm kind of curious. Do you remember your first acting and puppetry gigs?
I definitely remember my first acting. I definitely remember the first puppet. Oh my golly! First acting was, I was a kid. I did a TV show. I'm sorry, it was a straight to video like an action adventure series, which has disappeared into the ether. No one will ever find it. Back in the 90s, and then after that, I think I got my union card doing a show called Girlfriends, and it was a sitcom. And then after that, I did Joan of Arcadia back in the day. It was like my first. I think I got my union card actually doing Joan of Arcadia. And that was singing and dancing. That was more musical stuff. And then the puppetry came after that. But the first puppet I put on my arm was, and forgive me, I forget the name of it. He was the old stage manager for the Muppets, an old guy, kind of closed eyes, big glasses, big white mustache. He's like an old man,
Was it Pops?
He runs like the side desk at the stage door.
Was it Pops? Is that
Pops?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And I believe they only made one of him because when they handed me Pops, he looked so brittle and fragile, like he was as old as his own character. And if puppets could talk, I'm like, oh, what stories do you have? And my first puppeting job was like, great, I'm on camera. I'm going to bring Pops to life. And he goes, all right, so Pops, you're going to be asleep in the corner. Great. So no problem. I will sleep the best I can puppeteer a non-moving. I mean, just the subtle rising up and down with his breath.
And what was this for? Like, what project was this?
Oh, this must have been. That was for the Muppets. That was the first one I got from the Muppets. The first. Oh gosh, I guess it was. Now I'm misremembering. The first Muppet job I got after Puppet Up was Muppets Most Wanted, and that was.
Right. Yeah.
The Swedish Chef.
Oh, nice.
The Swedish Chef, and here you go, Brian. Hand me the Swedish Chef. And I put him on my arm, and in between camera setups, I'm just sitting there face to face with the Swedish Chef, just making him look at me and talk. And just, Brian, pay attention. Let's go. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm ready again. Because when you have these puppets on your arm, it's nostalgia, as you guys, this podcast is all built around. I mean,
especially with such an iconic character like the Swedish Chef.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I just like, I can't believe I get the honor of, putting this above my head when they yell action.
That's awesome.
And I've never stopped being a fan, even though I've kind of gotten to get on the set and do the work. I've never lost, and I have this in common with Peter and Bruce. I've never lost the this is amazing attitude. Never taking it for granted. It was it's just the coolest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, specifically, like, did you have any favorite puppetry projects growing up?
Growing up, a puppetry project growing up. Well, I didn't start learning puppetry until I was a grown, in my probably late 20s. But growing up, you mean like watching TV show? Like one of my favorite shows to watch?
Yeah.
Eureka's Castle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one.
Oh, we just got, yeah.
Yeah, and then Big Bear in the Blue House was. Well, I kind of caught. I was a little old for it. It was
Oh my gosh, Bear in the Big Blue House. Love that
Yeah.
show.
I was always aware of that, especially the Big Bear in this as a puppeteer inside that suit, just like Big Bird.
Oh my gosh, Noel did such a great job, and now he's directing for Sesame Street, and as well as doing things for a Little Shop of Horrors now.
Yeah.
And, he's doing a great job of what he's doing.
I know it is such a unique talent to bring a character like that with your body in that position. Yeah, just super cool. But and the Muppet Show, I would just love watching reruns of the Muppet Show for me. That was it. And just the vaudeville comedy, the quick sketches, the play between Jim and Frank. That was the kind of comedy that really got me excited. Well written, and the type of funny that's just me and my dad shared. And that's kind of that shapes you a lot when you're a kid, and what you watch and what you love is your parents. And my dad and I would watch the Muppet Show together. And we would just laugh and howl. My mom went into the room. She'd be like, "What are you guys laughing at?" "Oh, honey, you won't believe what Fozzie just said. Oh, honey." And my dad would try to explain the joke. And my mom would just go, "You two, I don't." And she would go upstairs to her TV, and we'd hear her cracking up. And we'd go upstairs, "Mom, what's so funny?" And she's like, "These housewives are so desperate," or whatever show she was watching. It wasn't Desperate Housewives at the time, but her humor was totally different. Totally different.
Oh gosh.
Oh man. So now, of
That's
course, we talked about Muppets Most Wanted, but what was like puppeteering in the ABC Muppets TV series?
That was awesome. That was my, the Muppets Most Wanted bits that I did were on location. And the Muppets ABC was on set. And so you had the entire set built, about 4.5 feet high. And you're in the ditch or whatever you call it, the gully. And that was fascinating. And my job there was to do all the ancillary characters in the background, keep the scene alive with movement, almost like an extra, just kind of going back and forth. And if you remember on Muppets on ABC, they had a lot of their table. They had their morning meeting at the writers' table.
Yeah, right.
Those scenes were probably just the most fun to watch, because you had to just kind of look and give focus and be alive and present. And that was really fun and awesome. And the celebrity guests. I mean, I'm a fan of all things, and every episode they had these amazing musicians come on. I'm flapping around Camilla the chicken next to Jack White's leg, from White Stripes. I'm just going, what is my life right now? Joan Jett was amazing. Key and Peele were so nice.
Oh yeah.
And just kind of being around it was wonderful. I have 2 moments from that show that I will always cherish. And one was an episode towards it was like they were trying to get Miss Piggy and Kermit back together. It was like Team Love or Team something else.
Okay.
And Pepe the Prawn was always Team Love. And my job was to man one of Pepe's tiny little arms. Now, normally a puppet has, 2 arms, 2 rods. Pepe has 27? With his each tiny little arm has a little rod down, and so when he makes a gesture with his arms open, like Team Love, hey, every little arm has to also follow. Actually, I think there's probably just 4. But my job was to imagine holding a pencil in your hand and moving it 2 inches to the left.
I know.
That was my job. That's him opening his hands all the way, going, "Hey man, hey Team Love," and action. Boop. I move this little rod. cut. I go, that was amazing. That was amazing. I just made Pepe come to life. And Bill Beretta, of course, Pepe was fantastic.
Yeah, I love Bill.
So
Oh,
fun.
Bill's so great.
And
Yeah.
and the other moment I always remember, actually there's three. You're getting three. The next one was working with Dave Goles, and he
Of course,
was
yeah.
Dr. Benson Honeydew. And I think Bruce asked me. Bruce said, Brian, what do you got? What are you doing in this next scene? I said, oh, I'm assisting Dave with Dr. Benson Honeydew, and he has this big laser pointer, not a pointer, like a stick at a chart, like a big whiteboard, and he's explaining his logic through these various random steps. I'm being his other arm. Bruce looked at me and goes, oh, you're Dave's other arm? Hang on, baby. I said, what does that mean? He goes, you'll find out. What? And now I feel like it's like a prank or something. And Dave just goes. He doesn't tell the assistant, in this case me, hey, I'm going to step to my left on this line. I'm going to turn and make a gesture on that line. And then I'm going to come over here and do this. Action. Well, here you see, and he's pointing at the board and whipping the stick around and turning left and turning right, and I'm on my toes like my days of dance and remembering jumping. Literally, when he just moves, I have to cross about 3 feet from the left to the right to make sure that the puppet's arm stays with the shoulder. Because if I lag behind, Dr. Bunson's arm is going to look like it just got dislocated. So I'm literally hopping around like a hot bunny on a hot plate, just boing, 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 trying to keep the body together. And at the end, I'm like, that was amazing. That was delightful. And I think my favorite was towards the end of the season, they had an episode like, hey, we're the Muppets. We're around the table. Let's get back to what makes the Muppets Muppety. And they start impromptu singing the Muppet theme song.
Right, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
It starts with Fozzie Bear clicking his pen.
Yeah.
It grows to it was my job to start the whole thing off. So my hand was in Fozzie's. That's my hand clicking that pen, keeping that beat and the rhythms that everybody.
Oh my God!
Oh, nice.
I set the foundation.
Wow.
With my music, like who's here's musical, and I went, man, I've been playing music ever since I could walk, and I got to set the foundation and have that impromptu a cappella Muppet theme. And I went, and I was just thinking about watching the Muppet Show with my dad doing that. And it was just wonderful.
Nice.
That's great. So now, even though you kind of talked a little bit about, we're kind of briefly talking about Puppet Up, but of course, you got to perform, for that. What was that like?
Puppet Up is crazy. Well, Puppet Up is for
like,
adults. I know this is the nostalgic, happy, fun time, maybe like
right.
family friendly thing, but not so much that show. But it is a blast, and my good relationships I've made over the years doing that show and touring with it, and it's got. This is the best part of the show, in my opinion. Is recreations. Have you guys seen the show by any chance? You heard about it? Talked about it?
Yeah, I've seen clips of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's an improv show, but a good portion of the show, I'd say maybe 30-40% of it, is recreations of old Jim Henson and Frank produced, written sketches and songs, things that they did on the Ed Sullivan Show, things they did back in the 60s, 70s that haven't been performed in front of an audience in decades. And we relearned those sketches and musical numbers and recreated them for an audience live in the room. And those are things that you can't see, you don't get unless you buy a ticket to the show. And that really felt a connection between kind of the source that started it all. And there's one little thing called Java. If you want to go on YouTube, look that up, Java, Muppets, and you'll see these little pink tubes. Little worms, and they have a little dance thing, and that's so delightful. I've grown accustomed to her face, which is a wonderful thing about romance. And there's this other part of the show that I think was just fascinating, and Brian Henson, it's his show, and he uses it kind of to showcase the best of what's cooking at the Henson Company, including the digital puppetry system, the HDPS, Henson Digital Puppetry System. and they
Right.
had the computer animated face manipulated like a puppet with the robot controllers, and Donna Kimball is amazing. She
Oh yeah, Donna. Yeah.
work. Yep.
Donna, yeah, she's wonderful.
Yay! We did an improv show, Donna and I. We did a improvised romantic comedy in the style of Jane Austen once before I ever knew anything Muppet at all. I didn't even know she was a puppeteer. I just met her as fellow actors on stage doing a show together. I went,
wow.
Hey, you're a puppeteer? What? And I was like, I remember you. What are you doing here? And
now she's working.
yeah,
Now she's working on the new Fraggle Rock show. She's now Moki.
yes.
She's doing a fabulous job with her.
Yeah, she's
doing such an absolute great job.
Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I don't, of course, I don't consider myself like I'm a Muppeteer, like the regular, like the main guys who do it. I've been blessed with a couple jobs to kind of be around them for certain amounts of time. And I gotta honestly say, everybody's cool. There's not a bad apple in the bunch. It was just wonderful. And I think because the work is so precious, they keep people around them that are just the best of the best. And that means being like a nice person. I mean, if Peter Lintz is any indication of the caliber of personality that they want to keep around themselves, that it's a family, that word gets tossed around a lot, but that's what it really felt like. Like everybody had your back. Nobody was trying to do you any disservice at all. They were really, really encouraging. I was in one scene with Peter Lintz, and he and I were in the back of the bar in one episode of the Muppets. It's just as extras. And I was thinking, Peter's way back here doing some, monster with big, warts on his face. That big blue monster with the big crazy hair. Anyway, he was back there just going, hey man, isn't this great? I said, yes, it is great.
Oh my gosh. That's Peter for you.
And he and I, well, especially him, I was standing, I was comfortable. He was crammed under the table against a chair with the table is right here about his head, his neck has to twist to the side. And he's just in a pretzel position, stuffed in this corner because Bill said, hey, we need a puppet filling this area of the shot. I'll do it. And then Peter just crawls back there like a pretzel under this table and goes, isn't life wonderful? Yes, it is.
That's awesome. I'm kind of curious, with the Muppets, did you ever got to do any commercials with them? Because they did a lot of those as well.
No, I didn't. I love those commercials. And I even super love those little shorts they did on YouTube. They just did these little internet little sketches.
Yeah, Muppet Crumpet show and the one for Facebook portal, there's so many great
stuff like that.
commercials
It's a great medium. I think the Muppets really shine when you have these short little stories where you have a little bit of irreverent, humor, maybe a little violence, maybe Gonzo flying through the set or making a huge mess.
As he typically does, yes.
Muppets, what only Muppets can do. I think that's the way to go.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So now you've also performed with Impro Theater. Can you talk about your work with them?
Impro Theater was my improv home in LA for many, 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 many years. And we did, when I was with them, we did shows that no other improv group in the country was doing. And I'm immensely proud of the work that we did with Impro Theater from, I think I left 4 years ago now. And the group kind of went away their separate ways. Some people went to, San Francisco and Florida, and I landed in Tennessee. But the work we did was improvising full-length plays.
Mm-hmm.
You go to an improv show, you see maybe short scenes, kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway, things like that. We did full plays with sets, costumes, lights, music, and we had no idea what story we were going to play. So, for example, we would go to a theater who was doing maybe a play set in the 1940s, let's say, or 50s. And we would go and use their set and be like, well, we're going to improvise a play set in the 1950s. We don't know who we're going to be. Maybe it's a family drama. Maybe it's a murder mystery. And we would bring our own costumes, and the audience would have no idea what show they're going to see. And we'd sell out every time we went down to San Diego and did these shows. They were just incredible. And we did plays in the style of Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, William Shakespeare. We'd improvise in the style of musicals, in the style of Stephen Sondheim, and a film noir, Western, which was a lot of fun. And just as an actor, you're on stage, you're writing it and performing it and making it up as you go. And it requires a lot of trust and ensemble support with the people that you're on stage with. And I was blessed to be on stage with incredible writers, right? So you're coming up with your own dialogue, your own monologue. I would say that, Dan O'Connor, excellent improviser, and Brian Lohman, awesome improviser. We would do an improvised Shakespeare play, and Brian Lohman, who now teaches at Bay Area Theater Sports in San Francisco, he could improvise a full-length Shakespearean sonnet in iambic pentameter. And those of you who may not know, that's a poem that has to have 10 syllables a line. And the rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G, I think. And a couplet at the end. It's very technical, blah, blah, blah. It's very technical. And he can just do it. And I'm like, how in the world can you do, And then Stephen Kieran, are you fans of The Sims? Yeah, that computer game back in the day.
Oh yeah, I remember The Sims. Yeah,
I've heard about that.
That language, they call it Simlish.
Mm-hmm.
That's Stephen Kieran. That's my buddy Stephen. He created it. He worked it. He made it happen. And it's a wonderful little thing on his resume that I always get a kick out of. I'm like, dude, you created Simlish.
Nice.
And he's a fantastic physical improviser. The mime and physical, command of his body. I learned a lot from him, which translated into puppetry a great deal, because you really have to control your arm and manipulate your hand in such a way where you're performing through your arm. And I picked up all such a wonderful skills from everybody. Jo McGinley, she is an incredible improviser. She just wrote a book called Going Long, about long form improv and the work we did at Impro Theater. Buy that book. It's called Going Long. It's amazing. Long form improv. She is an amazing writer. I love that work. It's so fun, and I'm doing improv still. Always, I'll always do it because it's just so much fun. If you haven't seen an improv show, go and support your local improv group, and just know that it's kind of like a sporting event. The big hitter might not hit a home run on the night you go, but darn it, give them a try.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So now you also perform with Improv and Sketch comedy group, the Groundlings. Now, what's performing with them like?
Well, I'll tell you, the only Groundlings I've done is it's a show called Cooking with Gas, and I was their special guest.
Oh, wow.
And so they have like a teacher, a student, a celebrity guest, and then maybe a fourth person. But they kind of mix the skills all together and watch them kind of play together. And that was just an awesome, wonderful night. But I've worked with a lot of Groundlings people. Their approach to sketch comedy is awesome, tried and tested and good. It's a wonderful, wonderful stage to be on. Speaking of nostalgia, you're on that stage at the same place where all these Saturday Night Live greats have come, and all these amazing TV writers have had their time there on the stage. And there you are. It's kind of like playing the Apollo or playing Carnegie Hall. If you're an improviser in Los Angeles, playing on the Groundling stage has that same feeling of
Nice.
Of those who have come before. It's pretty great.
Absolutely. So going back to some of your on-camera acting roles, you appeared in episodes of Community and Bones. What were those like?
Oh, fun. There's so many roles like that through the year. Community, there's one episode called Modern Warfare where they have a paintball, I think, tournament. And I played one of the chess nerd chess team guys. And then Bones was great because I got to find the dead body. And amongst actors in LA kind of trying to get their start, they're like, you do the NCIS or some procedurals, you'll do maybe a sitcom or those little roles and stuff. And so we'll get together and talk to each other like, hey, have you done a 3-camera show? Hey, have you done a multi-cam? Have you done a single cam? Have you found a dead body yet? I'm like, yes, I have. I got to find the dead disembodied head in a postal package. I'm like, hey, what's in this box? Open it up, and it's just staring up at you. You're like, ah. And that was fun. And Bones, I have a couple stories that are really encouraging. One happened at Bones, and I was on set with another actor who was having a heck of a time getting his lines. It was just tough going, and I was like, I told him, I will do this as many times as you need. We'll be here all day. I don't care. every time I'm gonna support you as best I can. And at the end, he's like, dude, thank you so much. That was so hard. Because sometimes you get in your head and you get stuck and you can't, kind of move forward. And the director was so encouraging. Nobody got mad. Nobody got impatient. Nobody got upset. And we just kept moving forward. And the other one I thought was just so nice was a movie, Joel and Ethan Coen, they directed a film called Hail Caesar, Coen Brothers. It had it took place in the late 30s, 40s, 50s. And it had a big musical number where Channing Tatum was a sailor and he was singing and dancing at a bar. At any rate, I was hired as an actor and I had some dialogue, and the choreographer said, Brian, there's a chance your dialogue is going to get cut from the film and then you just won't be in the movie anymore.
Interesting.
Right? And it can happen. As in the editing room, scenes get cut. And as an actor, you're like, oh, I did this great scene. It's going to be in this movie. And then when you watch it, your mom's like, I didn't see you. Because it got cut. So the choreographer, Chris Catelli, and he won a Tony. I should know his name. Good gracious. And he said, your scene might get cut. Let's put you in the shot next to Channing Tatum, next to all these things, so that we see your face, so that you're guaranteed, so that you're protected. So no matter what happens, you'll get paid. And I thought, to have that forethought, to have that care, where he didn't make his job any easier or better, but people looking out for other people in the business it's rare but awesome. And when it happens, you're like, that's great, hooray. I've been edited out of things and it's no fun, but great to just see people looking out for each other, I suppose.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Are you talking about Michael Stiers? Or is it's different Michael, isn't it?
I don't recall.
I mean that was kind of like a one-off thing. So so.
Oh, I did speaking of Bruce Lanoil, kind of going back to that.
Yeah.
That guy. He and I did a short film called Frank and Emmett. Look it up, baby. You're gonna love it if you haven't seen it already. Frank and Emmett. It's 10 minutes. It's Bruce and I. I'm the puppeteer and the voice, and Bruce he's my assist. He's my assist. He does the little arms and legs. And imagine if Kermit and Jim Henson had a private conversation. Right before Jim Henson passed away, what would he say to Kermit? If he had that opportunity, knowing that he was at the end of his life, what would he have said to Kermit as he passes? It could be like, you're going to continue on without me. You will have a legacy. You'll have a life. You will continue to work. And would Kermit understand if he was alive? How would he react to the news finding out that he was a puppet? And Frank and Emmett explores that conversation with two fictional characters, Frank, the puppeteer, named after Frank Oz, and my little puppet character named Emmett, of course, named after Emmett Otter, Jug Band Christmas. And it starts with a beautiful song, and it's only 10 minutes, and it's so sweet and cute, and written and directed by Carlos Portoles, who is the head of animation at DreamWorks, especially the Trolls franchise. He oversees.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
He wrote this short film, and it won so many awards I can't even begin to tell you. I'm so proud of it, and it is just super, super sweet. Please Google and watch Frank and Emmett.
Nice. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out. Yeah.
Warm your heart.
Interesting. That's awesome.
And I was under a bed because the whole thing is Emmett is sitting on the edge of a bed, this little puppet. And so
gotcha.
They drilled a hole in the mattress. You can imagine if I
okay.
bed with my hand up inside. And if you lift up the covers, I have a little apartment down there, just like a little bottle of water, a little monitor I'm working off of. I'm scrunched, under the bed. And it was just wonderful to work with that. That was one of the very first projects to happen, I think, after COVID.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, at least in 2021. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Makes a lot of sense. That's great. So now you also appear in an episode of the Disney XD series, I'm in the Band. Can you talk a bit about that?
Disney XD. I love Disney XD. I've done a couple of shows with them, and they're just so wonderful. And I'm in the Band was my first like big Disney show where you had to. Those shows are just filmed differently. You're louder, you're bigger, you're screaming a lot, you're falling down. You get pies
Especially
in
with a
the
show
face,
like
you're
I'm in the Band. I
kicking, and
remember that show. It was a very crazy show.
it was a crazy show. I played a pilot, and the band guys accidentally get on the wrong plane, and they're like, "Let's go, let's take off. We got to go to the gig." And I'm like, "Okay, I can take off. Cool. I'm the student. I think they're my teacher, so I don't know how to land the plane." And it's just pandemonium, screaming, chaos, and then I end up grabbing the only parachute and jumping out. Like, well, bye. Like, I can't, and I forget how they land the plane. They land the plane somehow. I don't think they died. That would have been the end of the show.
Interesting. Wow.
But I had to, they had the big industrial fan blowing on my face as I jump off into the stack of mats. I think it was like stage 30 or 20 something at Hollywood Center Studios. And I'm like, I'm doing a stunt. Whee! Jumping off into the mats. And the other Disney XD show I did was a Gamer's Guide to pretty much everything.
Oh yeah, I remember that show. Yeah.
I did 2 seasons of that, and I was the guy who ran the video game store where the kids would, because every episode's about a video game of some kind, and periodically they'd go to the video game store, and I was very stubborn a character as a video game store. I know everything about video games. You know nothing. That holier than thou, righteous kind of attitude, which was so fun to play. And a big idiot. I was just my character was just so dumb. A lot of screaming, a lot of fun character stuff, and getting to work with Cameron Boyce. My heart. He taught me so much, and he's so much younger than me, and what an absolute pro he was. I would see him get monologues that he would memorize instantly and perform them perfectly, and his timing was always spot on. And I've been on a whole bunch of sets, and the lead of the show, if they're cool, your whole day runs so smoothly. If they're in a great place, hooray. Other shows, I won't tell you which ones, but you're on set, you're like, oh, mom and dad are fighting. This is awkward. You get that feeling of I'm here to do my job, but that person's mad at that person, and people are not happy, and I have to, say my lines and work. But that was never that way with my Disney XD experience. Those guys were always so fun and wonderful to be around.
Yeah, and Cameron Boyce definitely taken from us way too soon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, very tragic passing.
Yeah, his family was great. His dad is incredible. I got to know the parents of the kids, and there's about maybe a 10-15 year gap, but I definitely felt like I'm an adult. You are the kids of the show. And their parents were they weren't crazy like Hollywood parents. They were good parents. Like, well, he's going to college after this, and so still gonna have a humble head. And I really appreciated that. And all my Nickelodeon shows, conversely, were also very nice. Everybody was very cool, but they went so fast. I found the Nickelodeon sitcoms that I did. I think it was Game Shakers and Danger Force.
Right.
Those shows. And it's just like bam, 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 next setup, bam, next setup. And now some just talking about shows I've done. I did an episode of Will and Grace where it was where Will and Grace, they came back to do a handful of episodes after the show had already gone away for a while. And they did one episode all about I Love Lucy. And I don't know are you guys a fan of I Love Lucy? Everybody kind of maybe catches some old,
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Me too.
But really to an older generation, in that episode, they recreated the iconic episodes of that show in black and white. And it was my only time that I've gotten to perform in front of a live studio audience. Most of the time it's filmed and then the laughter is put in afterwards.
Right, yeah, post-production, yeah.
This was a live studio audience. When that curtain goes up and that camera rolls, you have one take to hit all your marks, say all your lines, be perfect. And it was so awesome. And I'll never forget it. Because I think that style of filming is going away. They don't do that much anymore. I think it's expensive to have a whole bunch of people sitting in an audience, all day as we film a TV show. But man, that was special. And I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Will and Grace was filming right next to Hill Valley at Universal. And I remember when I was on break, I would escape, and I would go where I wasn't supposed to go. Like I would go around Hill Valley to the courthouse, and place where the DeLorean hit 88, right down the center street. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm in the movie. Sir, what are you doing here? I'm working on Will and Grace. Oh, you need to get back to where you go. Okay. All right. Sorry. And yeah, it's fun. And I fly back to LA and I work still now when I book a job. And it's always different and always fun. You just got to find the joy in whatever you do. And gosh, I've voiceover, I've done motion capture, done animation, music, sung for soundtracks. I just say yes to everything that comes my way and try not to be an idiot. That's my life. That's my life motto. Show up on time, know your lines, and be nice.
Right. Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now another recurring role you did was playing the character Ricky in the FX series.
Yes. Oh dear, why'd you brought that up? Oh, you brought
Wilfred.
IMDb page.
Yeah.
Yes, Ricky. Listen, that show's what was the name of the show? Darn it.
Wilfred.
That's a dark show.
Okay,
folks.
all right.
Dark show. So if you like that kind of humor, buddy, dive in. That was a show like, I said, Mom, I don't think you want to watch this. I mean, I really dig the family stuff, family friendly stuff. That's I think I love that a little bit more. But Wilfred was wonderful as Elijah Wood. I got to do some scenes and work with Elijah Wood. Who doesn't love Lord of the Rings? I was just I was like, oh man, so cool. And Elijah Wood would meet me in the morning, and he would say, hey, Brian, hey, good morning. He'd stick his hand out to say hello, and I did this twice. I was so enamored with him, I just hugged him. And he's probably
that's
thinking,
wonderful.
who is this guy holding me?
Who's this guy hugging me? Yeah.
I was like, I would caress it because he's not a big dude. I'm not a big guy, but he's a little smaller than me. And I would say, hey, good morning. And I would just go in for a hug, one of those awkward, like, why are you hugging me? But he was like, oh, cool. So I felt like a little hand on the back, this little pat, like, all right, buddy, security. And so twice, coming and going. I was like, okay, bye. And sometimes I'm awkward with celebrities. I have two other moments where I was very awkward with celebrities. One was doing Hail Caesar with Channing Tatum. And we were walking outside in between the set and where you eat, the cafeteria. And we're walking down this hall, this alley. And he's coming, and I'm one way, I'm going the other way. And when you pass somebody on the street, you get to that moment where both of you kind of look at each other and you kind of like do a little chin tilt, kind of like, hey, what's up kind of moment. I'm waiting for that moment to just kind of give him a little, hey man. And what came out of my mouth was, morning, Chatham. His name's Channing Tatum. I said, morning, Chatham. Hey, Chatham. I combined his first and last name into this nickname that sounds like a body part of some kind. Like you're Chatham? Like where's that? And I called him that and I went, oh God, what did I say? What came out of my mouth? And I kid you not, Chris and Jake, I did it again 2 days later because I was thinking, don't say Chatham. Don't call him Chatham, whatever you do. Morning, Chatham. Oh, God. Oh, no. I did it. And the other one, I think I was in an elevator with Denzel Washington. And my job, I had a friend of mine who was like the in-house like liaison on making sure that celebrities get to their seats during these award shows, like the BET Awards and the Grammys and all these things. So my job was to escort. This is one of the jobs I had when I was living back in my apartment with my computer monitor, my TV monitor up, annoying my roommates. He got me a job doing that. So my job was to escort Denzel Washington to his seat. And I was so starstruck. I'm in the elevator. It's just me, Denzel, his wife, and publicist. And I realized Denzel is talking to me. Whoops. I look up just in time to see him look at me and go, isn't that right? Isn't that? And I'm thinking, isn't what right? Isn't what? And I just look at him and I nod and I go, yeah. To this day, I don't know what I agreed to. It made him laugh. Great. He could have said, "You're an idiot and you don't know anything, isn't that right?" I said, "Yeah." I could have said yeah to that. I don't know what I agreed to. But every other person I've worked with, I've been able to keep my cool and do my job. But those were just the unexpected, like, whoa. Because I'm such a huge fan of him. My goodness.
Right. So,
Yes.
And I met Weird Al Yankovic. The end.
oh, nice.
Oh wow, you did. That's cool.
I'm just name dropping now. Now we're just not even talking about me anymore. Now I'm just a fan walking through Hollywood, meeting things. There's an adage of don't meet your heroes; they might disappoint you. Except if it's Weird Al Yankovic, meet him any chance you can. If I grew up listening to his music, and he could not be the nicest. Could not be a nicer dude. Awesome.
Well, it's interesting. Recently,
That's
we interviewed
great.
his drummer Bermuda.
Oh yeah, Schwartz.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's so great.
Isn't
Yeah.
he? Oh man.
Yes.
I saw his bass player. I can't remember his name.
I
was coming out of Guitar Center on Hollywood Boulevard, and I'm just no, it was the one in Van Nuys, and I'm just like, oh, that, like, you're amazing. Yeah, they're so talented. And I've seen them in concerts. So,
Steve J, Jim West.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it's either one of those
Yeah,
two, but
and they've been together for decades. Those guys are just all has been friends.
yeah. And now they're doing the tour next year.
Yeah, that's right.
We're just gonna be bigger and weirder.
Bigger and weirder. Get your tickets, folks.
Yes.
Yes.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. So you also appeared in episodes of the NCIS franchise. What was that like?
NCIS, I did NCIS and then NCIS LA, and I did both shows, and I think they both happen in the same universe. So I'm like, I'm playing my own twin brother in another city, maybe. The first one was NCIS LA, and I that was fine. I was a little part. I was like one of the witnesses that tells the detective, like, oh yeah, he came in here, he bought 2 disposable cell phones and went west. Bye. I mean, that was my part. NCIS proper came later, and I played one of their special agents on the force. And I had an episode where I got fired because I kept taking naps. That was my one role. I was like an agent. I had a badge, I had a gun, I had a name. I'm like, yeah, and I get fired because I'm like, I have a sleeping disorder and I need to take a nap. The guy in charge is like, yeah, you can go. And I get all indignant about it. I'm like, oh, you don't understand. And that was great. That's a show that's been on the air for so long. You're on set and everybody's like a family, and it just runs as smooth as you could ever want. And I remember getting a note from the director because I was playing very indignant, like, I have to take naps. And he came up to me afterwards and said, Brian, less. It's not Shakespeare, mate. Just tone it down. And as an actor, you're like, oh God, oh man, I didn't do good. And so, you'll get the note of like, throw it away, which means don't act so hard. We can see you act, cut it out to be
right.
real.
But it's not like we had to be so perfect, 100%.
And I was coming from
and not worry
Disney
about
shows. I was doing Disney, Nickelodeon, and those are just larger than life. And here,
yeah.
the camera is a foot away from your face. Like, just tone it down. Otherwise, it comes across as if you're yelling at us at home. I don't want that.
Right. Yeah.
Those are fun shows. And I've done a lot. I think if I had to look at all my shows, I think half of every show I've done has been, or acting gig has been in the past. I've done so many things set in the 60s, the 40s, 30s, 70s even. All these little parts that are just back in the day. And I have my wardrobe downstairs is all these vintage suits. I did Penny Dreadful, which I think was set in the 30s. And that was wonderful. I had a doctor. I was a doctor. I had a lot of doctor jargon. I had to talk, and I had blood on my sleeves, like I had just finished like an autopsy or something like that. and I've been blessed to do shows that span so many genres. I've done, gory adult stuff and kid-friendly things, and the Muppets,
Yeah.
and motion capture. That I did a lot of stuff with digital domain. Getting to put the suit on with all the dots, and I just recently did a screen test for an animated film that's coming, I think maybe next year, where they have the helmet on me with the camera, so they're not only getting your body movement, but also all your face, which is such a neat thing to get used to as an actor. You have no scene partner, no set, no costume. It's all in your imagination. You're in a suit covered with, actually, they don't even cover it with dots anymore because the technology is so advanced. And then you've got this bicycle helmet with an iPhone strapped to your, right in front of your face. And you're trying to act, and you've got your own face with a wire mesh over it on a screen facing you. It's it can be pretty tough. You gotta have a strong imagination.
Right.
Thank goodness we do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Since we're getting close to wrap things up very soon, can you share any projects that you're currently working on, at least that you're allowed to talk about?
I have two, and I can't. I signed NDAs. So what I can tell you is one's an animated film, computer animated, and I have a great part in that. And there's another one that and I'm continuing to be a puppeteer. I'm puppeteering on I can say it's a kids show, and I can say that we're doing, I think, 10 episodes with possibly multiple seasons if it gets picked up.
Cool.
And I'll be working with some guys, I can't tell you who, but I believe they're from New York, and they did Sesame Street. And I think even one of them knew Jim back in the day. So I'm excited to work with them and hear their stories. And
nice.
A year from now, I can tell you more about it, but that's...
That'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that. That sounds interesting. Wow.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, if you want to see me, come to Nashville, Tennessee, and come see me in an improv show with Oddity. Oddity Improv.
Nice.
Yeah, look for more to come. So now we usually ask the last question at every guest. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, so this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of, or how would you define the word nostalgia?
Oh, man, it smells. It's a weird answer, but it popped in my head. What do I think of when you say nostalgia? I think of things I smell. I think of the smell of my dad's old 68 Plymouth as a kid, crawling in the front driver's seat, and the feel of that vinyl that cracked through the years. The sound of moving that big steering wheel left and right in the garage floor. A vanilla potpourri in November that my mom would have boiling on the stove. And cigarettes, as awful as that is, reminds me of my guitar lessons. When I was 9 years old, I would go to this place called Dixon Music, and the guy inside at the front desk chain smoked. So every time I smell cigarettes, I'm like, "Aw, guitar lessons. Let's get out of here." Yeah, for me as a writer, I tend to go to when I talk about memory or doing a monologue of a lesson learned, I tend to go to the senses. What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I touch? More so than what do I see? And I think that kind of brings the audience viscerally kind of into your world a little better. So yeah, smells.
That's great. Thanks so much. A great word to end on.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is a blast.
Hey, man, thanks for reaching out. All the best to you guys.
Of course.
You as well.
Thank you. You too. Looking forward for more.
Bye.
Thanks again. Take care. Bye.
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 And it's goodbye from us as well. We absolutely enjoyed our time speaking with Brian Jones. Keep on the lookout for more wonderful interviews coming your way. As always, what do we say, Jake?
Keep nostalgia alive. Take care, everyone. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Be sure to follow Jake and the Happy Nostalgia team on social media, check out our website, and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.